Joining me remotely, the Deputy Secretary for the Department of Homeland Security, Ken Cuccinelli. Thank you so much for coming on. We're hearing a lot about potential voter fraud, mail-in ballots versus absentee ballots. Can Americans trust the results of this election?
By and large, yes. I mean, I was a state attorney general, and every state has to keep an eye on its own goings-on. But you noted an interesting distinction. Absentee ballots, where an actual voter has to request a ballot from the central system, versus a system where they just mail them to every registered voter. I have genuine concerns with those systems. Now, some of them have been in place for a long time, Washington and Oregon, but some of them are brand new. And the combination of the requirements for security in those circumstances with the fact that they've never tried this before. Remember the Romney campaign that tried out its voter contact device on election day? It's never really good to beta test your system on election day. And there are some states like Nevada that are doing just that effectively. And those states particularly concern me, as the new ones to the mail out a ballot to everybody, where you don't have experience implementing security systems behind it.
Yeah, so going to the poll to vote in person versus using a mail-in ballot or an absentee ballot obviously eliminates some of the margin of error.
Yeah.
But under the pandemic and the coronavirus, there may be some people who are scared to go to the polls. What's your recommendation?
First of all, for those who are, frankly, medically frail, secretaries of state of both parties all over the country are working to make sure those people can access voting, for instance, via absentee and so forth. We're trying to avoid significant lines. And if I could make one comment about something people should look for on election day, and that is no result. We are actually going to count slower this time because of the security mechanisms that have been put in place and the paper backup, the paper balloting, that now is going to be over 90% of ballots. And that's a form of security. You can recount paper ballots. If all you use is this electronic machine that counts things up for you, all you can do is retabulate everything that happened on that machine that day. It's a much more confident way for us to vote as a nation, but it takes longer to count. And some of the longest counting states are going to be Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and New Hampshire among swing states. And Georgia is using new technology. So those 5 states, all in the eastern half of the country, are going to take longer to tally up their votes. And it doesn't mean something has gone wrong. It actually means things are working right. So I just don't want people to reach midnight on the East Coast and say, oh my gosh, we haven't heard from Pennsylvania yet. Somebody must be stealing something. No, they don't start counting their absentee ballots until that day. None of those states other than Georgia do. And so with the increase in absentee balloting, it's going to take longer to actually know who won the race. I think the earliest that we're likely to have an idea of the result is the next day. And by that, I don't mean like 6 a.m. I mean more like the middle of the afternoon of the day after the election.
Sir, thank you so much for your time. I'm so grateful, and it's always a pleasure and an honor to speak with you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.